Hey guys, Matt with CJ Off-Road here. Now today on this video, we are going to be installing Fox's brand new ATS through shaft steering stabilizer onto my 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Now this steering stabilizer is going to fit 2018 to present Jeep Wrangler JLs, as well as 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiators. Doesn't matter what engine configuration you have, or if it's a Rubicon Sports Hair, the trim does not impact this. It is going to be a universal fit and really improve the steering feel of your Jeep. Now with this Fox kit, you're going to get a through the shaft design, meaning that this shaft actually goes completely through the shock body. That eliminates any steering play from a standard shock, which only gives compression on the outside and doesn't allow for any rebound on the other end of it. This also has a remote reservoir and 24-click adjustability to either get it as soft as you'd like or as firm as you'd like here. It includes a relocation bracket as well as all your gaskets, your hardware, and everything you need to get it on, plus there are no modifications needed to get this installed. I think this is a really great looking steering stabilizer. It comes in this nice graphite gray, as well as with Fox's classic logo on there. So that being said, we're gonna get the Jeep up in the air and get this thing installed. All right guys, so we got our Jeep up in the air here. We do have it supported by a pull jack up front. You can do this on the ground just as easy. The only two tools you're gonna need to remove your stock stabilizer, it's gonna be a 13mm socket for all three of these that hold on the factory bracket, and then an 18 to get onto this lower one and that one. And the cool thing about the JL too, or the Gladiator, is that both of these bolts, you don't need a box wrench on the other side. So this one's actually captured using a carriage bolt up top, and this one has a flag nut on the back, so you only need just one socket. So first thing we're gonna do is get those two bolts removed, and then we get that bracket out of there. Retain all the hardware for this because you will be reusing almost all of it. Once you've got that one removed, go onto the middle, and remove that 18mm as well. We're going to remove this bolt. We're just going to thread it right back into the flag nut as well. Go ahead and remove the bolt from this end. Pop our stabilizer out of the middle bracket. Go down a little bit. Just give it a few wiggles and it'll pop right out. See, this one is pretty much new, but obviously it doesn't have as much force as that Fox one. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this center bracket using a 13mm socket. There's 3 bolts, one on the bottom here and then 2 up top. We're gonna be reusing all 3 of these. So we got the one out, and we'll come up here, get these out as well. Now these do have Loctite on them like I mentioned, so don't be alarmed if they are pretty tricky to get out. It took a good bit of force to break those first 2 free. And it kind of reminds me of the body bolts, removing them in my JL. There's a lot of Loctite in here. So, like I said, don't be alarmed if it's a little tricky to get out. So once you have those 3 out, you can actually see all the Loctite in there. We can set this aside. We will not be reusing this bracket. So the next step for this is actually to put some bracketry on your Fox steering stabilizer. Now we have this bracket here, and that's gonna line up with this larger stud, and you're gonna put it in this exact orientation. So this actually replaces basically this factory bracket, so that's exactly how that's gonna sit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and line those 2 holes up. There's 2 holes in there. Throw some red Loctite on the included Allen key bolts. Get one started. Get the other one started here. And then we're gonna go ahead and use a 3/16 inch Allen key to get those tightened down. All right guys, now the next step we wanna do is we'll go ahead and throw some red Loctite onto each of our bolts here. Since I'm doing this on camera, I gotta kinda hold everything with one hand. If you had to do this on your garage floor, you'd be able to kind of set things in different spots, but I'm just gonna see how good my balancing is today. Definitely wanna throw some red Loctite on. You can see the remnants of the old red Loctite, so put that back on. And we will grab our Fox steering stabilizer. I'll go ahead and set that bracket up into place, just like so. Just get each bolt started. Luckily with this kit, there's no real bolts that you actually need to use a crescent wrench or a box wrench on the backside. It all kind of just pulls right in and out, just with one socket. So we'll go ahead and get that in. And then over on the other side, All right guys, so now for this point, that's where we're gonna use our rubber O-rings and our larger aluminum spacers. So for this, we're gonna put an O-ring on each side, and the smaller spacer, the thinner one, is gonna go up top. It'll press right into place. Then put another O-ring down below. See how that looks? Like that. Just make sure it's all the way pressed in. And then take our larger one like so. And then this will all fit together as one unit. You can just go ahead and just move it's a little tip there, just move the tire, and then you'll move the tire right back on. And we're gonna use our factory hardware right through there. I'm gonna go grab it and we'll drop it through. Here's where we can drop our factory bolt right through here. That'll notch into place because it's carriage bolt. We can get our nut put back into place. Now with this stabilizer, you're going to want to have the remote reservoir facing up at top. Now the cool thing with this is there's actually a set screw that clamps it on, so you can actually continuously rotate this and check for all clearances and tolerances with your track bar, with your drag link up here. But for right now, with that bolt in, we're gonna go ahead and tighten these three down before that Loctite sets up, and then we can fine tune any of this. The side one tightened, and we can move up top here. Definitely a lot easier going back in than they were coming out, guys. So if your JL's a little bit older, Gladiator, mine's only a year old with 10,000 miles, just expect to be pulling on these pretty good. All right, so all those are tight. Last thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and get this factory bolt over here tightened up using an 18mm socket, and then we're going to fine tune where we want this to sit, so that way it doesn't clearance anything. We're actually going to put it on the ground for that, and that'll be the last step. And we'll get all these tightened down to factory specs, and then we'll lower this down, and like I said, I'll use that 3/16 inch onto here and figure out exactly where this needs to sit. I might actually have Brendan hop in and cycle the steering, so that way we can see exactly where this is. And then in order to adjust the firmness of this, our adjustment screw is actually right on the back here. You can see it in the beginning clip. It's just a small flathead screw, and each click clockwise tightens it, each click counterclockwise will loosen it. So we're probably gonna tighten this down as hard as we can to eliminate any vibration up front. Well guys, that's a wrap on this installation. You can see we've got the Fox ATS stabilizer perfectly in place. And honestly, for as nice of a piece as this is, it's a shame that the tie rod completely blocks it. It is a really cool looking piece, and honestly, I think it's gonna be great on the road. We'll probably do a 6-month driving review of this steering stabilizer because honestly, just taking it out now, we could probably feel a little bit of a difference, but driving it for a little while, I'll probably get the full experience of it. So I wanna see how this thing performs. Honestly, I love Fox parts. I have Fox shocks on this Jeep and a ton of other Fox parts on all my other vehicles, and I absolutely love the ride and the quality of them. Now, if you guys want to check out this product as well as many other great parts for your Jeep, JL, Gladiator, or any off-road rig, be sure to visit cjponyparts.com.